What's up, people? This video is going to be very long. This is going to be a very good one. Casper Pale dropped massive update on Canada's own assassination claims, Harry Barley, and J6 bomber updates. This is going to be a good video. Now that I'm also going to get in a video that happened about 4 days ago about Black Fatigue Mall forces 10-year-old to shoot gun after fight. And everything. So let's get into the video, shall we? Let's enjoy.
Barry going off on Gavin Newsom is incredible. The game, I don't know what his rap career is doing nowadays, but he decided to make a rap song about Candace Owens. Nativity scenes depicting ICE agents. Don't play with Jesus Christ like that. Y'all all gonna go down. But anyway, Stephen A. Smith on here cooking once again. And before all of that, I want to give you guys updates on this crazy pipe bomber situation. And we also have Dan Bongino. He gives an exclusive interview, and you don't want to miss that, all right? So, welcome to the Officer Taylor Show. If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on today. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome to the show, and shout out to all my Freedom Chat fam that asked the questions. I'll get to your questions at the very end of the show. Freedom Chat, all you gotta do is go to Freedom Chat, download it on your, or upload it, or however you do it. Download it on the App Store. I think that's what you call it. And if you always want to send me a message or something, your concerns or whatever the case may be, just send it to me at Brandon@freedomchat.com, Brandon@freedomchat.com. I cannot wait to answer y'all's questions. Y'all asked me a whole bunch of crazy questions, but I'm going to get to it at the end of the show. And make sure you subscribe to my, I want to say subscribe to my Super Chat. Subscribe to my Substack. There you go. Subscribe to my Substack, all my channels. Let's get into this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the pipe bomber, the story that gets crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. But let me, I don't know, Grant, did we verify if that was AI or not? I'm not sure, but I'm going to let you guys be the determining factor on this. In CNN, before I get to the news, before I get to the updates, what's the Jake Tapper on CNN decided that he was going to call the suspect a white man. Now, you tell me when you see this, do you think the suspect is a white man or not?
No,
Play the
black
clip.
guy.
Welcome to the lead. I'm Jake Tapper. After nearly 5 years of investigation, the FBI finally announced that they had arrested a suspect accused of planting pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters the night before the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion.
Hold on. Now, I know I ain't colorblind. And I know he a quarter zipper. All right? You see that tie? You see the brother look like he got his stuff, got the glasses on, look like his daddy took care of him. But last time I checked, I don't think that color is white. How y'all done made him a white man? Now, look, I don't know if it's AI because there was some suspicious in this video that I caught. Let's go back just a little bit so you can see it. Right when Jake Tapper said it was a white man, somehow the screen cut. And you don't see his mouth saying white man. Now, as silly as CNN is, I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to make this dude out to be a white man, even though he's black, because they don't want a black man. It doesn't connect with what they think about black people. They don't normally associate black people with bombs. I don't associate black people with bombs. Black people don't do drop bombs like that. Black people ain't doing that. This ain't no Allah Akbar. Anyway, listen to it. Watch it closely and you tell me in the comment section, do you think that this is AI and they just conjured it up right when his face went off the camera? Or did you think this fool and somebody producing this show said this was a white man? Roll the clip.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting and explosive device
I did not know that was a white
interstate
guy.
commerce
That's a black
and with
guy.
malicious
Plain and
destruction by means of explosion. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement
All right,
outside
you
his
know they
home
tripping.
in
All right, let's get to
Woodbridge.
the news clip real quick to give us a couple updates on what's going on, because it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. And obviously, this is not your usual suspect when it comes to bombs. Roll the clip.
Also, let's look at our other breaking news this morning. We're getting some more details on the man accused of planting pipe bombs right near the U.S. Capitol on the eve of January 6th. Sources tell CNN the 30-year-old suspect in this case, Brian Cole Jr., told investigators after his arrest he believed the 2020 election was stolen, providing the first indication into a possible motive.
Let's go live to our senior justice correspondent, Evan Perez. He's here with us in the Situation Room. What else are we learning as this investigation unfolds?
Well, Brian Cole, the suspect in this case, sat for interviews, hours of interviews yesterday with the FBI, and among the statements that he made was that he believed the 2020 election was stolen. Now, that is a significant piece of information simply because there's been so much conspiracy, there's been a lot of speculation as to exactly what the motivation could be, certainly because, if you remember, those bombs were planted on January 5th of 2021, the day before the Capitol riot. They were discovered that afternoon of January 6, 2021, just as the mob of MAGA supporters was breaking through the first cordon of police lines, and then, of course, ransacking the Capitol. So the FBI investigators for a long time were trying to figure out whether the two things were connected. Now, there's certainly a lot more to learn about what his motivation was and whether this really explains everything. But certainly that statement that he provided to investigators in the last 24 hours is the beginning of the story here. Now, we know that the FBI did a lot of work over the last 5 years. You heard from the Attorney General and the Deputy FBI Director in the last 24 hours describing certainly a lot of the investigative work that is still to be done. But one of the key things that happened here was figuring out the cell phone location for this suspect that matched some of the other evidence. That only happened, Wolf, in the last few weeks, I'm told, as part of this investigation. And that is really remarkable when you think about an investigation that has cost millions of dollars, that has included dozens, perhaps even more than 100 agents that have been working on this case since this happened back in 2021.
And as you know,
Now, let me say this, man. I think all of y'all think of the same thing. This is about as fishy as a girl on OnlyFans. What I said? This smell about as fishy as a girl on OnlyFans. Can I say it like that? This is kind of weird. You got the black man who is not the usual suspect, and out of all the stuff he told the FBI, hours of interviews, the only thing y'all talking about is the fact that he said that the 2020 election was stolen. You telling me he didn't say nothing else? You telling me there was nothing else of significance? That the only thing from a black dude putting bombs out here was somehow that he thought the election was stolen. It's funny that they used that, because I can almost guarantee you or your money back that boy said a whole bunch of other stuff that made him clearly not a Trump supporter, and they won't capture none of that. They just put the part that he thought the 2020 election was stolen. To be honest, I don't know people that didn't think it was stolen. Well, Nick don't think it's stolen. He got a little rhino in him. We trying to pray it out of him. We got to do an exorcism to get that rhino out of him. No, I'm just kidding. Me and Nick agree on most of this stuff. But I think it's kind of fishy. OnlyFans fishy. All right? I want to talk about the game because I don't want you guys to... Don't run away yet. We're going to talk about the game in this rap video against Candace Owens. But before we go to that, I want to play the clip from Dan Bongino because he explains. Because all the questions that we had of like, what was Biden and them doing? And as you heard on CNN, the cell phone data tracking only happened in a couple weeks. So what were they doing this whole time? Data tracking is the most damning evidence. Well, let me let Dan Bongino talk about it real quick. Roll the clip.
Is you did not find any new evidence. It was all there, had been there for the longest period of time. The only difference between you and Director Wray and the Biden DOJ is they did not prioritize it. Why? And I know it wasn't easy to solve, but you did it in 8 months.
Yeah.
John, I don't know what the hell this prior leadership team was doing outside of, targeting political opponents, weaponizing the FBI, destroying its reputation, embarrassing agents that are doing really good work out there, catching terrorists, CCP spies, and everyone else. It's almost like they were intentionally trying to decimate faith in institutions. It's horrifying. I don't know what they were doing. I can tell you what happened, though, when we got there, the director and I. My first meeting, I swore in, and I kid you not, probably 15 minutes later, and the people who were in the meeting know, I said, when I get in there, I want a full brief on this pipe bomber case on day one. And I looked at the case agent after getting a full brief on what they'd done, and they had done some a pretty extensive amount of work. They had chased down, I think, thousands of leads, 6,000 plus interviews had been conducted, hundreds of tips, and it still was relatively stale, the case. And I grabbed the case agent on the way out, and I said, "You're going to get me this guy. You're going to track this guy down, and you're going to find him. You're going to get me this guy. I want him." And that started what's been almost a 9-month operation right now to make sure that we could get full accountability and transparency to the American public and find this guy. And today we did. But Sean, I have to add this because this is really important. You've heard all the cliches, team effort. You hear it all the time in sports. I said it today at the presser, but I want to emphasize this. This was a team. Judge Jeanine, Deputy Attorney General Blanche, people you and I know very well, AG Bondi. You cannot do anything in the FBI without DOJ process, subpoenas, drawn paper, search warrants, complaints, arrest warrants. Who do you think does that? It's not just us. We're the investigators. They're the lawyers. So that team from day one.
So you see what Dan Bongino was saying? He said, you're going to find this guy, you're going to catch him, you're going to prosecute the guy. This is my theory real quick. I really do believe that they had no intentions once they found out that this guy could have been this black man. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. When they found out that it's not the usual suspect, it's not leading down the usual path, they don't want people to know that there were individuals that probably wasn't even associated with Donald Trump, individuals that weren't even conservative, that were doing things nefariously. In my opinion, I doubt really that the person wanted to blow anything up because they would have. How do you drop pipe bombs places and none of them explode? They probably set them there, real pipe bombs, so that they can blame it on a conservative. I wouldn't be shocked. And the fact they didn't pursue it because they don't want to pursue anything but the narrative. The narrative is that Trump supporters stormed the Capitol and it was just as bad as 9/11, which some of these nut jobs have said. And I think it's absolutely crazy. It's just the craziest thing ever, in my personal opinion. Do we have another clip associated with this? I think that's the last clip. Yeah, I think that was the last clip. And so we're going to get to the nativity scene, which I'm going to lose my mind over. We're going to get to Candace Owens. I thought I was going to do it next. My producer said, we're not going to do it next. We need to go to Halle Berry. So we're going to get to the nativity scene. We're going to get to Candace Owens and this thing. We're going to get to Kesh Patel, who said some incredible things that I am going to send to Candace, because I think she probably needs to see this. I don't think she's aware of what Kesh Patel is saying, but I think she needs to see it. But let's talk about Halle Berry real quick. And I'm going to say this, and I love my wife. She's the most beautiful woman in the world, but Halle Berry still look good. I don't know what kind of routine she doing. Maybe she learned it from my wife. My wife be doing all kind of routines at night. I mean, she be working. She got a little thing that she put in the freezer. And she go like this on her. I'm like, well, what are you doing all that for? She go, baby, I got to still look good. I'm like, I love you anyway. But Halle Berry must be doing something that my wife be doing. But let's get to this real quick, because Halle Berry blast your boy Gavin Newsom, who's a snake oil salesman. When you got your legs crossed like he got, but the bottom leg hanging, you a snake oil salesman. The bottom leg got to be flat, bruh, because you doing a pretzel. You ain't cross your leg, bro. You doing a pretzel. And you got the loafer on the side of the pretzel. All right, Halle Berry, take it away.
Back in my great state of California, my very own governor, Gavin Newsom, has vetoed our menopause bill, not 1, but 2 years in a row. But that's okay, because he's not going to be governor forever. And with the way he's overlooked women, half the population, by devaluing us in midlife, he probably should not be our next president either. Just saying. I need every woman in this country to fight with me. But the truth is, the fight isn't just for us women. We need men too. We need all of the leaders, every single one of you in this room. This fight needs you.
And let me tell you what, she's not lying. I don't know a man on planet Earth that enjoys menopause. And I'm not saying that we experience it, but we don't want our women to experience it. And not saying that they're going to avoid experiencing it, but the act is specific. And Gavin Newsom is going to respond. I'm going to show his clip in a minute. But the Menopausal Act Equity, or the Menopausal Care Equity Act, which sounds super woke. But what it's designed to do is California bill is designed to improve menopausal and premenopausal care. It will require health insurance to cover menopause related treatment, will require medical training on menopause for doctors and providers. And the goal is to make menopause care standard and also accessible and be taken seriously. I second that. I know the women on The View are having hot flashes and all kind of stuff, and we can help them in California if we just pass this act. Now, I'm joking a little bit because I know menopause for women is very stressful, and it's got to be for their husbands, because I read up on menopause, and that don't seem fun for women, especially men, because women don't want to play video games with you on the menopause stuff. But anyway, let me not get canceled over this. Gavin Newsom responds to Halle Berry, and this is what the snake, as he slithers through the airport. This is what he says. Roll the clip.
Governor, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Last question for you. Obviously, Halle Berry had some comments. Do you have any? She had.
Actually, just was connected with her manager. We have the ability to reconcile. So we're reconciling.
So
I've included it in the budget next year. She didn't know that.
Oh, really?
So we're reconciling.
So how do you? What's your message to women who might have been offended by the bill, or just what do they not understand about the bill that they should
They didn't understand we already were in the process of fixing it, so we're getting it fixed.
So did you have you talked to our manager exactly, or Governor? Any chance 2028? Everyone's looking at you, expecting big things.
Way premature. 2026, all that matters. Speaker Jeffries.
What's the hardest part about your job that nobody really understands?
Do you believe that we have the proper suspect in custody? Do you believe that Tyler Robinson is, in fact, the man who killed Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Do you believe he acted with the help of anyone else?
Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you subscribe to The Officer Tatum Show and The Officer Tatum Channel. And message me if you want to ask me a question at Brandon@freedomchat.com. That's Brandon@freedomchat.com. Let's get into this. All right, y'all, roll the clip.
Let me start with this, the most obvious. Do you believe that we have the proper suspect in custody? Do you believe that Tyler Robinson is, in fact, the man who killed Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Do you believe he acted with the help of anyone else?
This investigation is being led by the Utah state authorities because it is a murder investigation. So the FBI is a supporting role in the investigative process. And so what we're doing is the same thing we did in the pipe bomb investigation. The investigation is ongoing for us. If there's any new leads or tips, we are exhausting them with search warrants and legal process. But at the same time, we are working with the prosecutors in Utah to make sure we don't screw up their investigation. Because again, the worst outcome would be if the guy that killed Charlie Kirk walks out of a United States courtroom in the state of Utah. And so it's a delicate balance again, but there is no way this FBI is going to stop that investigation until it reaches its all-conclusive endpoint.
Do you believe any foreign government had a role in his assassination?
At this time, the FBI doesn't have credible information to connect any foreign governments to it. But as I said, we are continuing to take investigative leads. We're not done. Just because we arrest someone, just like in the pipe bomber case, we don't just say, okay, we're done, on to the next. The investigative team continues to work with the Utah authorities, and they're deriving their own leads and coming back to us and say, hey, can you look at this piece of information? Can we get a search warrant on this account? What about this individual who is located in X, Y, or Z? We're tracking all that down.
Do you have any credible reason to believe that anyone
Hold on, before she asks that question, I want to clear this up real quick. If you notice that he said the local government is investigating the murder and then they refer to the FBI. And the reason that they would refer to the FBI to take certain leads is because there's certain federal jurisdiction. So if somebody has a cell phone, or there are certain search warrants that the federal government can do that the local government cannot do, right? To tap your cell phone, to tap into social media, that's a federal jurisdictional thing, because social media goes across the entire world. So the jurisdiction is not local. The FBI has the ability to get a search warrant and to go through that process and get that information on a broader and major scale. Roll it. Let me tell you something. I believe with all of my heart that every life has value. That's why I proudly stand with Save the Storks. They don't just talk about being pro-life, they live it. They are Life Army, meeting women where they are and showing compassion, truth, and hope before it's too late. Right now, there are 108 mobile medical units or stork buses across the country reaching women before they make a devastating choice or attempt their own abortion. These buses offer ultrasounds, counseling, and real support, giving moms the chance to choose life. But the mission needs you too. We're raising $500,000 to build and place multiple stork buses in Charlie's honor, and each one will be named after Erica Kirk as they travel across the country fighting for life. We need everybody to give generously and to stand up and to be part of something bigger than themselves. And for every gift of $50 or more, you will receive this free Life Army t-shirt. Join me in the Life Army. Together, we can help more moms, save more babies, and change more futures.
Organization had anything to do
and
with
hold on, her question was that, is any organization like Turning Point USA have anything to do with this? Roll the clip.
His death.
0.
On the subject, there's been an allegation made by prominent podcaster Candace Owens that she's received a death threat, a credible death threat from the French, that a threat has been made on her life, and that the French, she's been told, also may have had a role in Charlie's assassination. Have you looked into either of those? Do you believe she's received a credible death threat from the French, or that the French had something potentially to do with Charlie's death?
Any American that receives a death threat from overseas or anywhere in America is going to be fully investigated. So we're not going to turn our eye away from that investigation or any others. If there's anything to it, this FBI will respond to it.
Okay, but so far, no.
So we are just looking at everything that comes in. We're not going to reject any piece of information. If someone feels that their life is being threatened, we are, of course, looking at it.
I can verify that myself, because we've received some very dark things here at our show, and you guys have always been very responsive in looking hard at the people who send them. Can I ask you, Cash, the text messages between Tyler Robinson and his